is going on. Hi everyone, how you doing? Paul here from Unusual Things. Now today we are All Saints Churchyard in Southern Courtenay, which is Oxfordshire area, and we've come today to find the final resting place of George Orwell. It's alright, I had a little bit of a brain moment then because I was just looking for somewhere. So I'll tell you a little bit more information about him real soon. This is quite a nice little village area, so I've just parked out the way because the churchyard entrance looks quite busy. Don't forget, if you like the video today, please give it a thumbs up. It's quite a warm day today, I think it's about 11 degrees. Not exactly sunbathing weather, but it's quite nice. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and leave your comments down below. Have you read his work? Are you familiar with his work? You know, anything that's affected you in your life regarding him and his work at all. I always like to read your comments, so leave them down below, and I'll tell you a little bit more about him now.
Eric Arthur Blair, 25th of June 1903 to the 21st of January 1950, better known by his pen name George Orwell, was an English novelist, essayist, journalist and critic. His work is characterised by lucid prose, social criticism, opposition to totalitarianism and support of democratic socialism. Orwell produced literary criticism, poetry, fiction and polemical journalism. He is known for Animal Farm 1945 and the dystopian novel 1984, written in 1949. His non-fiction works include The Road to Wigan Pier 1937, documenting his experience of working class life in the industrial north of England, and Homage to Catalonia 1938, an account of his experiences soldiering for the Republican faction of the Spanish Civil War 1936 to 1939. I was critically respected as his essays on politics, literature, language and culture. Eric Arthur Blair was born on the 25th of June 1903 in Bengal, British India, into what he described as lower upper middle class. His great-grandfather, Charles Blair, was a wealthy country gentleman, an absentee owner of Jamaican plantations from Dorset, who married Lady Mary Fane, daughter of the 8th Earl of Westmoreland. Blair's maternal grandmother lived in Moulmein, so he chose a posting in Burma, then still a province of British India. In October 1922, he sailed on board SS Herefordshire via the Suez Canal and Sea Line to join the Indian Imperial Police in Burma. A month later, he arrived at Rangoon and travelled to the police training school in Mandalay. He was appointed an assistant district superintendent on probation on the 29th of November 1922. After a short posting at Mai Mayo, Burma's principal hill station, he was posted to a frontier outpost in Delta at the beginning of 1924. In England, he settled back into the family home of Southwold, renewing acquaintance with local friends and attending an old Etonian dinner. He visited his old tutor Gow at Cambridge for advice on becoming a writer. In 1927, he moved to London. Ruth Pitter, a family acquaintance, helped him find lodgings, and by the end of 1927, he had moved into rooms in Portobello Road. A blue plaque commemorates his residence there. Orwell's health continued to decline after the diagnosis of tuberculosis in December 1947. In mid-1949, he courted Sonia Brownwell, and they announced their engagement in September. Shortly before he was removed to University College Hospital in London, Sonia took charge of Orwell's affairs, attended to him diligently in hospital. Sonia was beautiful, and her act of marrying a sick, wealthy man when his death was almost certain had left many to doubt her intentions. In September 1949, Orwell invited his accountant Harrison to visit him in hospital, and Harrison claimed that Orwell then asked him to become director of GOP Limited and to manage the company. But there was no independent witnesses. Orwell's wedding took place in the hospital room on the 13th of October 1949 with David Astor as best man. Orwell was in decline and was visited by an assortment of visitors including Muggeridge, Connolly, Lucian Freud, Stephen Spender, Evelyn Waugh, Paul Potts, Anthony Powell, and the Eton tutor Anthony Gow. Plans to go to the Swiss Alps were mooted. Further meetings were held with his accountant, at which Harrison and Mrs. Blair were confirmed as directors of the company, at which Harrison claimed that the service agreement was executed, giving copyright to the company. Orwell's health was in decline again by Christmas. On the evening of the 20th of January 1950, Potts visited Orwell and slipped away on finding him asleep. Jack Harrison visited later and claimed that Orwell gave him 25% of the company. Early on the morning of the 21st of January, an artery burst in Orwell's lungs, killing him at the age of 46. Orwell's grave is in All Saints Parish Churchyard, Sutton Courtenay, Oxfordshire. Orwell had requested to be buried in accordance with the Anglican rite in the graveyard of the closest church to wherever he happened to die. The graveyards in central London had no space, and so in an effort to ensure his wishes could be fulfilled, his widow appealed to his friends to see whether any of them knew of a church with space in its graveyard. David Astor lived in Sutton Courtenay, Oxfordshire, and arranged for Orwell to be interred in the churchyard of All Saints there. Orwell's gravestone bears the epitaph, "Here lies Eric Arthur Blair, born on June 25, 1903, died January 21, 1950. No mention is made on the gravestone of his former famous pen name. Orwell's adopted son, Richard Horatio Blair, was brought up by Orwell's sister, Avril. He is patron of the Orwell Society."
So there's all the information there on Eric Arthur Blair, otherwise known as George Orwell by his pen name. So we will now continue to have a little look for his grave and see if we can find it, shall we? Okay, so I'm having a good look around. I think I found it.
Here lies Eric Arthur Blair, born on June 25, 1903, died January 21, 1950.
So there's the final resting place of Eric Arthur Blair, George Orwell. Thank you, Eric, George, however you like to be known, for all your contribution to everything that you've done, your writings, your books, you know, and he wasn't far wrong, was he, with some of 1984, if you haven't read it. That's one book I have read many years ago, and Animal Farm as well, great film, great book, sorry. Yeah, so thank you, George, there you go. It's amazing, isn't it, when, you know, you get these people of such iconic stature, and, you know, they're just humble graves, and it just makes you think, you know, and I know I've said this 100 times before, that we all come in the same way, we all go out, you know, it doesn't matter who we are in life. I've just seen another grave here, which I'm just going to show you a picture of. I don't know who they are, but it says on there, sculptor, there's two of them, look, Irina Sedleka, 1928 to 2020, and Bird Poo Franta Belsky, sculpture, 1921 to 2000. Yeah, so if any of you guys want to look them up, see who they are, feel free to write it in the comments down below. I don't know off the top of my head. But there and again, what would I know about the sculpting world? Absolutely zilch. God, it's windy today. Yeah, so I did notice on the way in a church door, which you may have seen on the video. I can't hear anything coming from inside, but we have to do it, don't we? It's rude not to, isn't it? I'm always frightened they're going to open the door and there's a big service going on or something. Let's have a look. Oh, yes, a service going on. Oh no, there's Hello. Sorry disturbing you. I was just filming some outside. Do you mind if I film a little bit in here? Because it's... No, it's fine, but I just heard you playing and it drew me in. I thought it was amazing. I'm recording, but I won't record your face if you don't want me to, sir. But I did record a little bit of your playing because it was beautiful. It was really, really great to hear. I'm just going to film a little bit of the church if you don't mind, and then I'll leave you in peace, sir. Always best to be polite when coming into these places. But how cool was that? We got a little bit of organ music playing. Wow, who's this? Let's see if we can pull back a little bit. There we go. Sleeping on the job, obviously. See if we can pull back a bit. There we go. It's lovely in here. So cool. How cool was that? We've never had that before, have we? So not only today did we get in the church, but we had an organist in there. I honestly thought it was a service to start off with because I opened the door and I was like, but I just saw him sat there playing with his organ. Keyboard, don't be filthy. Playing with his keyboard. And sorry, I'm just laughing at my own childish, immature behaviour. Yeah, so that was pretty cool this morning. So there you go, there's George Orwell's final resting place. Don't forget, if you like his stuff, I'm 12 years old, I really am. If you like his stuff at all, or you know, he's had any influence on you at all in whatever you've done in life, then please leave the comments down below. And don't forget, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, hit that notifications bell, and then you'll be aware of when more videos come out. And on that note, thank you as always everyone for watching. Let's hope we get into some more churches as well. Let's carry on that tradition for 2023, shall we? You know, it's a new year, new journey. Let's see what happens, shall we? Anyway, all the best, thank you very much. Take it easy, see you soon.